It's your boy, Malaya, aka Starshine Lion Hair, aka the baddest witch. And I'm just making this video to talk about my IFA journey, my road to IFA. Um, I've been talking about it nonstop. It's all I can think about, literally. I know that I'm like burning a hole in my roommate's ear because I just literally can't stop talking about it because I'm so excited, y'all. Like, honestly, excitement isn't even the word. Like, it's just so many things that I'm feeling and it feels exciting. Um, but yeah, I just wanted to make this video because in the process of me preparing myself for this journey, um, I've been trying to like look on YouTube and Google and all these places to find people who have gone through this process before and like, trying to find personal stories about what life was like before, what life was like leading up to their first ceremony, and all of these things that just aren't out there because people are very protective of the isheshe of the tradition, and it's very understandable. But it's a new day, y'all. It is a new day, and people are not only being awakened to traditional African spirituality, but people are boldly and proudly proclaiming the name of their ancestors in the Orisha and saying that they are Omo Oshun, Omo Shango, and it's beautiful. And so I think that it's time for us to start talking about this. There are obviously things that folks who have been initiated cannot talk about because you just can't. There are mysteries that you have to go through a process in order to learn. But um, there are lots of things that can be talked about and a lot of things that can be shared and shouldn't be a secret anymore. We don't have to hide away. We don't have to disguise our Orisha under saints and under white mask. Like, no shame to any of the Western adaptations to Ifa, to Voodoo, to any of the ways of our ancestors, because our ancestors who preserved our tradition through the ma'afa, through the stealing and trading of our ancestors. All praise and honor to them. I'm so grateful that they were able to preserve our tradition in the ways that they did. Um, but we don't have to hide anymore, you know? Um, and I don't want to. I don't want to hide who I am, um, my spiritual practice, my ancestors, and our way of life. I don't want to hide that anymore. I want to share that because it's beautiful. It's so beautiful. Like, wow. Um, so yeah, that's the point of me making this video. And I promised all of the folks who donated for me to start my initiation process that I will keep them updated on life and how my journey is going. And so this is me fulfilling my promise to them. Thank you all so much for donating and supporting. I am so grateful for that. Like, it just reminds me that I'm on purpose, and like I'm on my path, and it's beautiful. And I love y'all. Thank you so much. I want to give thanks to all of my mothers, my ancestral mothers, my biological mother, my godmother. I give thanks to y'all. I give thanks to the wombs that have carried me and have nursed me and nurtured me. I give thanks to all of them. I give thanks to my friends, my homies, my community, the people who have been supporting me, even when, you know, no one knew what the Orishas was around me, except for my homie Big Bev. Shout out to my nigga. Like, he was one of the first people that I could vibe out with about some of this shit because he was hip. So I appreciate that, and it made me feel a lot less weird about the things I was interested in. So where did I start? Where does it start? Um, for me, it starts in Cleveland, Ohio. That's where I'm from. That's where my mama from. That's where her mama from. That's where my mama stay. Actually, it starts tens of thousands of years ago, but in this lifetime, it starts in Cleveland. East Side, stand up. Um, I was raised by some really badass, fierce, godly ass black women. Um, Primarily led by the matriarch of my family, Dolores Malody Goodwin. All praise and honor to her. Um, she helped raise me as a child. She raised my mother and her five siblings after their mother was murdered um, years ago. Like, my mother was like 9 or 10 when she lost her mom. Um, and my Lodi just took on the responsibility to raise her grandchildren. And when I came along, she was just like, yeah, this one needs to stay with me. Um, the reasons why I'm still uncovering and still coming into. Um, but yeah, I was just always with my Lodi like all the damn time. It was great and also weird as a child. I'm like, I don't, why I'm like, I'm just hanging out with this old lady all day. Like none of my cousins like had to do that. It was literally me and my Lodi. And these days I'm grateful for that because wow, like that socialization just matured me in a way that I'm hella grateful for. Um, I went to Catholic church. No, I went to Catholic school. I went to the same Catholic school that my mom's went to, my aunt, my uncles, um, a cousin of mine. Like we all went to St. Adelbert, East Side Stand Up, in Cleveland, and I went there from like kindergarten to maybe second grade, and that was a lot. Like that was enough for me. I couldn't do it because one, niggas was still going to Baptist church on Sunday. Like, and the choir, going to Bible study, going to uh, Bible school, Sunday school, motherfucking AM session, the afternoon. I mean, just like in church, in the Baptist church. But Monday through Friday, I'm being taught Catholicism. And that shit was confusing. I just did not understand. I got used all throughout my tenure at St. Adelbert in religion because that shit just did not make sense. Like, niggas was drinking from the same cup during communion. I didn't get that. Like, we didn't do that at my church. And, you know, I'm just like, this is weird. And there was some hella weird shit happening at my church, too. Like, I I've always been a curious person. Um, Spirituality and religion has always been something that interests me, and I knew that I would be some sort of spiritual leader one day. I just never saw me doing that in the Christian church because I was very skeptical of Christianity and Abrahamic religions in general, for real. But I just had a lot of questions, and I was always told to just like have faith, and that I just wasn't the person who could sit with that. You know, like you can't tell me, even as a child, to just trust you. Like, no, I don't fucking trust you. I don't trust you. So no, I don't. And the older I got, the more that I realized that questions that I had no answers. That I was never gonna get answers for those questions, and so um, yeah, I just tried to like chalk it up and do as I was told. And I lived much of my life like that. Like, well, I don't know if this makes the most sense, but this is what I was told to do. This is what I've observed is going to keep me safe and it's going to allow me to continue to prosper in life. So let me fall in line. And I'm still decolonizing and breaking free from a lot of that shit because it's deep. It's deeper than my 28 years here. Um, but yeah, I knew that I wasn't getting answers for those questions, but I was still, like, spirit was still being activated in me, you know, and I couldn't deny that. Um, the culture that was in Black church was just so, it felt good to me. And it felt like something I wanted to be a part of, especially the choir. Like, my Lodi put me in the choir. She knew. She was like, oh, I know my child. You need to be in the choir. Um, and I love gospel music. I love being in the choir. I still do love praise and worship. The energy, the vibrations that are created and conjured in those moments is undeniable because Black folks are magic. And um, yeah, that shit is just felt. And I love that. And that's what really kept me coming back. Um, Even as a child, like, yo, my family, like my mom and my siblings and my stepdad, we moved to Arizona in the late 90s, and stayed there for a few years. And I used to go to church by myself. Like, I would get on the little youth church van and go across town to somewhere that I don't even fucking know. But I would be going to this church like by myself, like recruiting my little friends and shit. Like, hey y'all, let's go to church. Um, and in retrospect, I feel like that was me wanting to continue my connection with my Lodi, because she was still in Cleveland and I was missing her because my Lodi was my dog, y'all. Like, that's my girl. Like, yeah, that was my girl. We spent a lot of time together. And so I was missing her naturally. And church was our thing. That's, one of the things that kept us connected. And so I would go to this white ass church in Arizona, and I stopped going because white people are fucking racist. And even as a kid, I saw that shit, and I just didn't want to deal. Um, so I stopped going to that church. And once we moved back to Cleveland, this was like, I don't know, the start of middle school up until me graduating. I didn't really go to church. Um, but I was still identifying as a Christian. Like, I would still read my Bible. Um, I still felt connected to God in a lot of ways, but going to church is like wasn't something that we continue to do. Um, and once I moved back to Cleveland, my Lodi had passed away, and life was just very different. Um, and yeah, church being one of those things that connected us, I was just like not interested. Neither was my mother for her own reasons. But fast forward to me going to Wright State to college, my freshman year, at the end of my freshman year, I decided that I did not want to continue relaxing my hair. One, because um, I've never I've never had a good experience with anyone doing my hair other than myself or my mother. So I didn't want to like have anyone doing my relaxers. Honestly, I wasn't about to like go to Cleveland every other week or every month to get my hair done. Um, and I just wasn't interested in doing my own relaxers because God no. So I was like, what if I just stop doing this shit? I don't know. Like, I just had a rebellious ass spirit about me at that point. I was like, what if I stopped doing this? Would my hair curl up like Khalees? Because that's what, to me, natural meant. It was like, relaxed Khalees. And I wanted a Khalees fro. I did. I saw myself with the Khalees fro and everything. As you can see, I have more than Angela Davis, and that's all good. Um, Black is black, and black is beautiful. Pause. Y'all, check this out. What? This is an edge brush. Nigga. Black women have been using toothbrushes for ages, and now they've created a special brush for our edges. I hope a black woman is making a major bag off of this. I really do. Okay, back to our program. So I decided to stop relaxing my hair, go natural. I didn't know what the fuck that meant. I just knew that I didn't know how to take care of my hair without a relaxer, so I needed to do a lot of research. And in that process, that was just one of the many awakenings that I um, experienced as a student at Rice State and just coming into myself as an adult. I would say that was one of the first awakenings, not continuing to relax my hair. Because I changed my major from engineering physics to African American studies and anthropology. After that, I got involved on campus um, with NAACP and just like whatever black ass issue, like student issue that was present. Like I was there talking my shit. And I remember, yeah, I remember um, during my studies coming across a wordsmith by the name of Sonny Patterson, who's from New Orleans, and she was performing at this place in Dayton. And she did a piece where she said the names of the Orisha. And this was like 2009. And her words, again, made me feel so good. Like, wow, the way she crafts a message. Um, Man, it's just so moving. And so when she was saying these names, I'm like, what in the world is she talking about? Like, what was that? Ooh. So yeah, just like remembering some of the names, like I remember sounding out Yemoja and searching it on Google. Yemoja was the first Orisha that I researched, and what I found was amazing. Like I remember, I was like 19 or 20, probably 19. I was 19 years old, and I saw these images of God as a black woman, as a beautiful dark skinned black woman. And I ain't never seen no shit like that, y'all. And I was very intrigued and also very confused. Like I wasn't scared because Yemoja is not a scary energy. Um, and she was very welcoming, very just captivating. But I wasn't ready. I was not ready to go deep into her waters at the time. But I was grateful for that initial introduction. That was beautiful. Like, wow. Yeah, I was like, what? Like, and at the time, I'm like, oh shit, this is what our ancestors was doing. Like, that makes sense. I had no clue that people were still saying Yemoja and still like, um, you know, calling on her to guide them through life. Like I didn't know any of that. I didn't know what any of that meant. I just knew that somewhere, some people that looked like me believed that God was a beautiful black woman um, that came from the sea. And I believed that same damn thing. I didn't have the words to, put all of that together like that, but I was like, yeah, this makes sense to me. This is, mm-hmm. I can see where you came from with that. So, yeah, I sat with that for years, like the whole time I was at Rice State, and I left the fall of 2013, um, and but my senior year, like the last year I was at Rice State, y'all, I was really trying to get right with the Lord. Like I had joined the choir on campus. I was going to church every Sunday. Like I was really all in. Like I wasn't even having sex in college, mostly because I was gay. But that's another. That's another video. Like, wow, I was gay. That explains a lot. But I was really trying to get right with the Lord because, yeah, I was gay. And I'm like, wow, I'm gay. Also, I was like, I don't know what to do with this because I just found out God was a black woman somewhere else. So, what am I supposed to do? Let me try to get more knowledge about Jesus Christ um, to trump all of that other stuff. And the more I learned, the more I went to church, the less it was resonating with me, the less it was doing stuff for me. Like, I would go to church, spend so much energy, like, feeling bad about myself, feeling bad about what I did that week, or feeling like, oh, well, this is the Sunday that, I'm gonna get touched by the Spirit and things are gonna change. And then the rest of the week, I'm just feeling convicted for living life. And it was just a weird ass cycle. And so when I left Wright State, I knew that I could not enter my new life in 2014 with the same stuff, like with the same habits, with the same beliefs, with the same practices. I was just not interested. And that shit was not serving me. Like, I was unhealthy and unhappy, and I didn't want to be that way anymore. So, 2014, at that time I had left school. I was organizing full time. And in the spring of 2014, I will never forget this. I looked up on YouTube how to connect with your ancestors because I was just feeling like, yeah, I wanted to know how do people connect with their ancestors. Not having no expectations on what that meant, just being curious again. And what came up was all these beautiful black women sharing best practices about how to connect with your ancestors through divination, through setting up altars, through offerings, through all these things. And I was hooked. I was like, yes, this is what I've been looking for. And now I am not afraid to explore this. I'm so grateful that this is coming back around to me a few years later, now that I'm ready to like do something else. Um, and like had no fear about not practicing Christianity anymore. Because I knew, I'm like, I can't. This is not for me. Um, and one of the first videos that I remember watching and like just really learning from this woman, her name is, what's her name? She's with the Blackberry Beauty Academy. Um, she recently changed her name. But she's a beautiful, dark-skinned woman who's from New York, was living in the Bay at the time, and now lives in North Carolina. Her name is Lisa Marie Gooden. But she was going by another name at the time. Anywho's in, very knowledgeable woman, very beautiful woman. She was talking about holistic healing and womb health and healing your womb and connecting with your ancestors and like living a divine, feminine, goddess-like life. And I was like, wow, I want to do that. I'm a goddess, goddammit, and I want to live life like a goddess. um, and so she led me to Queen Afua, where I bought Sacred Woman, the book that is like a Bible. I have it over there somewhere. It's a Bible. It's a guidebook that I recommend to every black woman, woman of color, woman of the earth. I suggest you cop Sacred Woman and just like, yeah, immerse yourself in all of the knowledge. And Queen Afua is actually the godmother of Erykah Badu. So a lot of the things that Erykah Badu knows about holistic healing and being a divine a beautiful representation of the divine feminine. Um, and the prototype for, or the archetype for the Badu pussy, she got a lot of that from Mama Queen Afua. So Queen Afua is the OG. Um, and as y'all know, 2014, like, the world was on fire. Eric Garner was murdered. Mike Brown was murdered. John Crawford was murdered at the Walmart that I shopped at. At the Walmart, literally around the corner from the school I spent years at. This black man was murdered by the police. And then in my hometown in Cleveland, a few months later, the same year, a 12-year-old boy, Tamir Rice, who looks just like my little brother, was murdered by the police. Um, and so life just took a very different turn for me. But I was still practicing this new way of life, of connecting with the divine feminine energy, and just learning a lot. This is also the time where I met my current godmother, Iolosha Olaomi Akalatunde. All praises to her. I discovered her on YouTube as well. And the first video I saw of hers, which captivated me, is "Why Are You Afraid of Witches?" I believe is the title. And I was like, what? What's this fine ass black woman talking about witches? Like, what that mean? And so I clicked on the video because, again, I'm curious. And she was just talking some real shit. And yeah, I was just like, oh, okay. Yup. I need to follow her because she's on to something. And yeah, come to find out, she was a priestess of the Orisha tradition. Wow, what a way to just like come back to Yemoja via this woman, via this process of reawakening, um, and like extreme transition and transformation. And so I was reintroduced to Yemoja, and my respect and love for her just continued to grow and deepen because I'm like, this energy brought me home. This is the energy that brought me back to my ancestors, that brought me back to myself, and that's bringing me to Ifa. And yeah, it brought me to my godmother and the community that I have now and the community that I'm growing. Like, all of that comes from me just being curious about this black woman God. Um, so yeah, like, since 2014, I've been studying with my godmother. Um, she teaches a phenomenal course on Black witchcraft. There's, I think, 4 levels to it. I've taken every level, because she is just an amazing scholar and teacher. And her, my bad, y'all. My phone got cut off. But like I was saying, I've taken every single course that she has offered because, one, she's an amazing instructor, a scholar who just like knows her shit. But 2, like, the material isn't easy, but it makes sense. It's familiar because it's our shit, you know? Like, she's just really ushering black women into a place of rediscovery, you know? Coming back into the ways of our ancestors, the ways that we've lived for thousands of years, and these ways has kept us alive through it all. Ifa is an oral tradition. There, you know, very recently, are you finding the scriptures, for lack of a better term right now, of Ifa written down? For the most part, everything is oral, you know. It's learned and passed down through the telling of the stories of the oracle. that we call Odu. And so, yeah, this is the fact that has been able to survive this long. Like, wow. And I'm grateful to be one of the people that's going to carry this beautiful tradition into the future. Like, I, man, I take that so very seriously. And I'm very grateful for that gift. I'm grateful that Ifa has called me back to my ancestors in this way, and I'm grateful that I am in a place to be able to answer that call and do what I gotta do. Um, yeah, so I hope this video series is helpful for people who are interested in Ifa, interested in any traditional African spirituality, whether that's voodoo, Haitian voodoo, New Orleans voodoo, Condomble, Palomayombe, Lukumi, um, any of it. I hope that this, resonates with you and makes it less scary of a thing to get into. So yeah, follow me on Instagram at him underscore Malaya, HIM_MALAYA. Also at Brown and Bruja, Brown XBRUJA on Instagram and Twitter. And if you aren't following me on Facebook, follow me on Facebook, Malaya Nicole on Facebook. Yeah, so that's it for now. I'll come back with another video to talk about some more shit. So peace.